From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your evening update.
Clouds are on the increase as we head into the evening, and you see wintry precipitation breaking out to the west across Oklahoma, North Texas, and Arkansas. That's the beginning of the winter storm that will be headed into our area for the weekend. Here are the bullet points of what we're expecting. Still a winter storm likely beginning the early morning hours of Saturday morning after midnight tonight. I think roughly between 1 and 3 a.m. we start seeing the precipitation move into our western coverage area counties here. Places like Hardin County, Tennessee, Tishomingo County, Mississippi, into the western parts of Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, and northwest Alabama, and maybe up into Wayne County, Tennessee, and then spreading across the area from there as we head toward daybreak. So once we get to midnight tonight, I want you off the roads and hunkering down to get ready for this. This will still be a high impact type threat across areas with travel issues likely. And then in the heavier ice accumulation zones, power outages certainly possible. And this is an ice storm situation we're dealing with, especially southern middle Tennessee, especially along and west of the Natchez Trace Parkway in southern middle Tennessee down into North Mississippi. But some light icing over North Alabama as well, but it eventually switches over to rain from south to north beginning late tomorrow afternoon, carrying through tomorrow night into Sunday morning. And most or all of us switch over to an above freezing rain by late Saturday night into the morning hours of Sunday before we drop below freezing again in through the afternoon hours on our Sunday as the precipitation starts to wind to an end. And then cold for the weekend into next week. We're talking about overnight wind chills in the single digits, negative numbers, and Monday night, even the low temperatures down close to zero, if not a little below. There's still an ice storm warning that goes into effect at midnight tonight, continuing through 6 p.m. Sunday. And all of the alerts you see on the map in our viewing area start at midnight tonight and then expire 6 p.m. Sunday. Purple counties, that's an ice storm warning. In our viewing area, that's Lewis, Lawrence, Wayne, and Hardin counties in Tennessee, Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin counties in Alabama, Tishomingo County in Mississippi, where the greatest ice accumulation risk is, and that continues back into North Mississippi. For the northwest Alabama counties, it's the western half of those that are the primary concern. The pink counties in southern middle Tennessee, in our viewing area, that includes Murray, Marshall, and Giles, a winter storm warning, significant ice accumulation, but maybe not quite as much as the purple counties. And then the bluish purple counties here, that's a winter weather advisory where some light icing possible for the first half of Saturday, but things transition over to rain and above freezing as we head into the afternoon. Here's the Futurecast breakdown starting this evening, heading into tonight. We will be dropping below freezing after dark, maybe not quite into the 20s as quickly, but we will drop on into the 20s by the mid to late evening, and that goes pretty much area wide. Notice by 2 a.m. it has the wintry precipitation knocking on the door here, and yes, you do see some blue on the map. That's more than likely the computer model having a tough time picking up that it will be a sleet icy mix, but there could be a few flakes of snow mixing in at the very start of this. It just won't amount to much, and this is not really a snow situation, but there could be a few flakes mixing in during the early morning hours. They just won't amount to much. It's an icy situation. Now, as we head on into the morning, spreads across the area, I think it's going to extend farther south than what you see here as we head into Saturday morning. So kind of with your imagination, pretend the precipitation extends a little farther south. The main point, though, is once we get into the afternoon, notice warmer air starts coming up from the south, and North Alabama starts getting above freezing. We head deeper into the evening, that spreads through northwest Alabama, northeast Mississippi, up into southern Tennessee. And by the early morning hours here of Sunday morning into the mid-morning, we're above freezing and rain all the way to Nashville here and all throughout our viewing area. And that will continue with above freezing temperatures into the midday. And then it may start to chill back down by the midday afternoon from west to east here. And there may be a short window Sunday afternoon where it may change back over to an icy mix briefly, but not too much more accumulation. Things getting out of the way as we head into Sunday evening, but whatever is left on the roadways, even if it's just water and all the ice melts, and I think that may be a likelihood as we go late Saturday night into Sunday. I think there's significant melting on the roadways, but even if all that melts, and it's just liquid water from rain, as we get into Sunday evening and Sunday night, it will refreeze into black ice. And that's a significant problem. Even though we'll have gusty winds to help dry some of the roadways out Sunday night, it's not going to all go away. And I do think there will be roadway problems into at least parts of Monday, if not the entirety of Monday. Our ice accumulation forecast has not changed. And now that we're getting into the window of all the high resolution models, the National Weather Service offices have been adjusting their forecast numbers to better match what we've had here since we issued our forecast for this back early yesterday morning. They've been adjusting their numbers today just a little bit. They weren't off much to begin with, but they're starting to adjust to what we've had all along here. The neon pink areas through the heart of southern middle Tennessee, Columbia, Lewisburg, down to Pulaski, Lawrence County, Tennessee, southern Wayne County, Tennessee, down to the western side of Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, and Alabama, back into eastern Tishomingo, Mississippi. That's a 1/4 inch of ice accumulation up to a 1/2 inch, and it will be a range in that area. And then tomorrow night and into Sunday morning, it switches over to rain. So what accumulates in ice tomorrow into tomorrow evening, there will be some melting late tomorrow night and through Sunday morning. The dark reddish pink areas here from Hohenwald down to Waynesboro, down through Hardin County to near Iuka and west. That's a 1/2 inch or more of ice. And even if it does change over to rain and we get some melting there, before that happens, that ice will be heavy enough to cause power outages and tree damage and line damage that may cause outages to last a few days. Even if we get up into the mid-30s, and we get some rain in there, the damage will have been done before that point. From Fayetteville, Tennessee, down through the Huntsville Metro, Athens, Decatur, Moulton, back to the immediate heart of the Shoals Metro and eastward in Lauderdale, Colbert, down through Russellville and Phil Campbell, light icing is certainly possible the first half of Saturday, but as we get into the afternoon and the evening, we do go above freezing, and that will switch to rain and melt pretty quickly in those areas. Some travel problems possible, but they will start clearing up as we head to the afternoon in the evening. So that's the breakdown. Little to no impact from snow across the area. It's an icing situation. And in those areas where the ice accumulation goes over a 1/4 inch, we're talking about ice storm conditions. But once again, I want to stress there will be a window of improvement later Saturday night into the first half of Sunday where some melting will occur over probably a large part of the viewing area. But until then, widespread travel issues likely in the icy areas and even down in the North Alabama, slick spots possible for the first half to 2/3 of our Saturday. And in those heavier icing issue areas, power outages are certainly possible, if not likely. In the 1/4 to 1/2 inch zone, they may be shorter lived and spotty, but in that 1/2 inch plus, they may be more widespread and longer lasting. And then we are cold through a large part of next week. And because we are so cold for so long, this is also a pipe bursting type cold. So you're going to need a plan for that as well. After midnight during the early morning, that's when the wintry mix arrives across the area. And by daybreak, I do think it's overspreading a large part of southern Tennessee into northwest Alabama, temperatures in the 20s. But again, we go from an icy mix and an ice storm situation tomorrow to this switching to a rain and above freezing overnight tomorrow night. That low of a 28 for tomorrow night, that's probably right there in the early evening before we warm up to the mid-30s overnight tomorrow night and into the first half of Sunday. We go from a rain there to maybe ending as a short period of an icy mix during the afternoon hours of Sunday, and then whatever's left on the roadways, whether it is some ice still or more likely it's wet roadways from where everything switched over to rain, It will refreeze as we drop back below freezing, which means road issues into Monday. But I do think between Sunday night, Monday night, the wind on the roadways, solar radiation Monday with the sunshine, I do think that will help dry out the roadways some, so that Tuesday, the back roads might still be rough, but the main roads probably not nearly as bad. But the morning wind chills will be dangerous. That's not a wind chill of 2 degrees Monday night. That's the low temperature. Some areas in southern Tennessee, the low temperature will be just below zero. So the wind chill's definitely below zero. And then we're cold, at least by our standards here, we're cold all the way in through the latter part of next week. That's a look at your latest 7-day forecast. I'll be back at 9 o'clock with a final check of your local weather.